I had two people in my life I trusted completely. My fiancée Ava and my brother Liam. They were my world, the two people I knew would always have my back. But a series of small lies and weird behavior led me down a path to a discovery that shattered my entire reality. This is the story of how I uncovered the shocking betrayal happening right under my nose, and how I made sure they would never forget it. Ava and I had that kind of love story you see in movies. We met in a coffee shop, a total cliché where I spilled a latte all over her books. I was mortified, but she just laughed. This bright, incredible sound that made everything else just stop. From that day on, we were inseparable. Our life felt like a puzzle where every piece just fit. We bought a small house with a yard for the dog we were planning to get. We spent our weekends hiking, building furniture, and dreaming about our future. 6 months ago, on a hilltop overlooking the city, I asked her to marry me. She said yes, before I even got the full question out. Planning the wedding was the happiest I'd ever been. Every little decision, from the cake flavor to the font on the invitations, felt like we were laying another brick in the foundation of our forever. My brother Liam was the other half of my soul. He was 2 years younger, but everyone said we were like twins. We had our own language of inside jokes and movie quotes that nobody else got. He was my first call for everything, good news, bad news, or just to complain about traffic. He was a personal trainer, just full of life, the kind of guy who could make friends with a brick wall. When I told him I was going to propose, he helped me pick out the ring. He clapped me on the back, his eyes shining, and said, "It's about time, man, she's perfect for you." Of course, he was going to be my best man. I couldn't imagine anyone else standing up there with me. The three of us became a unit. Liam and Ava got along like a house on fire, and I remember feeling this deep sense of peace, watching them laugh together at family dinners. I'd think to myself, this is it, this is everything I've ever wanted. The two people I love most loving each other too. We had game nights that went way too late, and weekend barbecues where Liam would run the grill while Ava and I prepped sides. It was perfect. It was this beautiful, comfortable, happy life. And I had no idea it was all a lie. I had no idea the people who were supposed to be my safe harbor were actually the storm. Then things started to feel off. It wasn't one big thing. It was a lot of little things. The first crack appeared on a Tuesday. Ava said she was going out for a late dinner with her work friend Sarah. I didn't think anything of it. But around 11 p.m., Sarah texted me, asking if I'd heard from Ava because she'd been trying to reach her about a work project. My stomach just dropped. I texted Ava and she replied almost instantly, "Hey, sorry, just got home. My phone died. Sarah and I had a great time." I stared at the text, a cold knot tightening in my gut. Why lie about something so small? I walked into our bedroom and she was already under the covers with her back to me. Her phone was on the nightstand, plugged in and lit up. It wasn't dead. I just stood there, my mind racing, telling myself I was paranoid. There had to be a logical explanation. I let it go. A week later, it was Liam. He just became scarce. He was always the one to make plans or text me stupid memes at all hours. Suddenly, my calls went to voicemail. My texts got short, one-word answers hours later. When I finally got him on the phone, he sounded distracted, edgy. I asked him if everything was okay. He just brushed it off. "Nah, man, just been swamped, super busy." But it didn't feel like he was busy. It felt like he was avoiding me. The little tremors started to connect. I'd be talking to Ava, and she'd mention a new restaurant she wanted to try. Later that week, Liam would casually bring up the exact same place. They started finishing each other's sentences, sharing these quick, knowing looks that I was never a part of. One night, the three of us were watching a movie, and they both laughed at a part that wasn't funny, a private joke that just hung in the air between them, leaving me in a confused silence. I started to feel like a stranger in my own home. Every time Ava's phone buzzed, I'd tense up. Every time Liam cancelled plans, my mind would spin, trying to connect invisible dots. The worst part was the self-doubt. Was I going crazy? Was I just being a jealous, possessive fiancé? I started to question my own sanity, wondering if I was inventing a problem that wasn't there. I felt like I was losing my mind, trapped in this fog of suspicion I couldn't prove or shake. The moment that pushed me over the edge was simple. Ava was in the shower, her laptop open on the kitchen table. We shared it, so it was never a secret. A notification for a shared photo album popped up. Summer fun. I thought it was pictures from our beach trip, so I clicked on it. It wasn't our trip. It was a gallery of Ava and Liam at the park, at a bar I'd never seen. In a photo booth, their faces pressed together, his arm wrapped tight around her waist. These weren't photos of a woman with her fiancé's brother. These were photos of a couple. My blood ran cold. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely use the trackpad. I scrolled through a slideshow of my personal hell. There was a photo of them clinking wine glasses on a patio, dated on a night Ava told me she was working late. There was another of Liam kissing her on the cheek, her eyes closed with a blissful smile on her face. That's when I decided I needed to know everything. The paranoia I'd been fighting suddenly felt like a survival instinct. A cold, methodical clarity washed over me. I logged into our shared phone plan account, and there it was in black and white. For the last 3 months, Ava and Liam had been in constant contact. Hundreds of texts, dozens of calls, many after midnight, some lasting over an hour. While I was sleeping just feet away, the love of my life was on the phone with my own brother. The rage was suffocating, but something else took over. A need for proof they couldn't deny. I knew they'd try to lie. They'd call me crazy, jealous, controlling. I needed something they couldn't talk their way out of. Then I remembered the dash cam. Liam had helped me install a new one in my car just last month. He talked me into it, said it was good for security. The irony was sickening. I went out to the car, my heart pounding, and pulled the SD card. I plugged it into the laptop, my hands trembling. I didn't have to look far. 3 days ago, Ava had borrowed my car to run some errands. The video file started with her driving. Then her phone rang. It was Liam. She answered on the car's Bluetooth. "Hey, you," she said, her voice soft and intimate in a way I hadn't heard in months. "Hey," Liam replied. "Just making sure you're still coming over tonight. Your fiancé has that late meeting, right?" "Of course I am," Ava said with a little laugh. "I miss you. Today was so long." "I miss you more," he said. "Last night was incredible." There was a pause. Then Ava spoke again, her voice a low murmur. "I know. But Liam, we have to be more careful. He's been acting weird. I think he's getting suspicious." "Let him." Liam's voice was cold, arrogant. "What's he going to do? By the time he figures anything out, it'll be too late. You'll be my sister-in-law. We just have to hold on until after the wedding, and then we can figure out the rest." I stopped the recording. I couldn't breathe. The sound of their voices so casually plotting their deception in my car was the final blow. It wasn't just a fling. It was a plan. They weren't just betraying me. They were mocking me. The 2 pillars of my life had crumbled into dust and I was buried in the rubble. I didn't explode. I didn't scream. The rage turned into a chilling calm. I saved the audio file to my phone, went back inside and waited. That evening Liam came over for dinner, just like every Friday. It was all so sickeningly normal. He clapped me on the shoulder and asked, "How's it going, big bro?" Ava kissed me as she put dinner on the table, smiling like nothing was wrong. They sat across from each other, stealing those little glances, thinking I was still the same oblivious fool. Halfway through the meal, I put my fork down. "I have something I want to play for you guys," I said, my voice eerily steady. "It's from that new dash cam you helped me install, Liam. The audio quality is fantastic." I pressed play. The sound of their voices filled the dining room. I just watched their faces. The color drained from Ava's cheeks. Her fork clattered onto her plate. Liam froze, his eyes wide with panic. They looked like cornered animals. When the audio finished, the silence was deafening. Ava was the first to speak, her voice a choked whisper. "Mark, We can explain." "Explain what?" I asked, my voice dangerously quiet. "That you've been lying to my face for months? That you, my brother, told her to just hold on until after the wedding?" Liam started stammering. "Man, it wasn't like that. It happened. It just happened." I stood up, my chair scraping loud against the floor. "For months. In my house, in my car. You planned it. I heard you. Get out." Ava started sobbing. full-blown, dramatic tears. "Please, Mark, don't do this. I love you." "No," I said, the words feeling like ice. "You don't. And you." I turned to Liam, who wouldn't meet my eyes. "You're no longer my brother. Get your things and get out of my house, both of you." After they scrambled out, I sank onto the couch, the adrenaline draining away, leaving a hollow, cavernous emptiness. I picked up the phone and called my parents. Explaining that their younger son was sleeping with my fiancée was the hardest conversation of my life. Their disbelief, followed by my mom suggesting we could all talk it through, made me feel completely alone. They just wanted to fix it, to avoid a break in the family, but they didn't understand. The family was already broken. My revenge wasn't loud. It was quiet, methodical, and final. The next morning I packed every single thing Ava owned into boxes. I did the same for the few things Liam kept at my place. I left them all on the front porch. Then I spent the day on the phone, dismantling the future we were supposed to have. I called the venue, the caterer, the photographer, the florist. With each call I said the same thing in the same flat voice. "I'm calling to cancel the wedding of Mark and Ava. The reason is, the bride was having an affair with my brother and best man." The final step was to get ahead of the story. I refused to let them control the narrative with lies and whispers. I wrote a single, simple message and sent it as a group text to our friends and in an email to family who'd gotten "save the dates." It said, "With great personal pain, I'm announcing that the wedding is cancelled. I recently discovered that Ava has been having a long-term affair with my brother Liam. I wish them the best in whatever future they have together, but it will not involve me. I ask for your privacy during this time." The aftermath was brutal. My fiancé and my brother, my entire support system, were gone in an instant. I was drowning in grief and anger. My self-esteem was shot. I replayed everything in my head, wondering how I could have been so blind. The pain was physical, like a weight on my chest I couldn't get out from under. If you've ever been through something like this, or you just want to show some support, please hit that like button and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. It really does help. The path forward hasn't been a straight line. It's been a chaotic mess of anger, sadness, and just feeling lost. But I started going to therapy. I had to learn how to trust people again, but more importantly, how to trust myself. My first goal wasn't forgiveness or finding someone new. It was simply to believe in my own judgment again. Slowly, I started to rebuild. I sold the house. It was full of too many ghosts, and moved to a new city for a fresh start. Today, I'm not a victim of what they did. I'm a survivor. I learned to find strength on my own, to value honesty above everything, and to understand that my worth was never defined by their betrayal. I am finally free.